All right, gang. So we're headed back to Home Depot to return that concrete saw blade. Okay. So, as shown in that video yesterday, I tried to use it at about 6:45 p.m. and didn't work. No good. It's kaput. I was pretty sure he told me that they closed at 6. Apparently they were open till 8, so had I known that, I would have called them last night and said, hey man, this thing's broke, what should I do? So I didn't do that, my bad. So I called this morning as soon as I got up, about 9 o'clock, to discuss it with them, asking them to, take care of me so I can get some sort of usage out of this thing. And I'm headed back down to Home Depot now. So one thing about me is that I consider myself a pretty reasonable guy. If I had to use one word to define my leading characteristic, it's being a reasonable person. And I think you develop a certain measure of reasonableness after having gone through, a lot of things in life. It doesn't get you very far, it doesn't get you anywhere to get all upset and irrational about things, okay? So be reasonable. So all I'm looking for is a reasonable solution to this problem, which is probably still going to cost me quite a bit, even though I got zero utility out of this rental of this tool. We'll see what they do. Best case is what I'd like them to do is give me some in-store credit, which I find is a really reasonable customer service measure, generally speaking. I mean, a lot of times maybe you return something that you didn't want, you opened it or whatever, or didn't need, it was the wrong thing. Companies have a reasonable business to operate, and so anyway, in-store credit would be ideal. Turns out what I really need is the freaking jackhammer, the electric jackhammer. I didn't really need the concrete saw, at least not just yet. But over the phone, he's like, yeah, you should have called us last night. I'm not going to be able to give you credit towards the other tool, but I don't know. I said, whatever's fair, I'll bring it in. We'll discuss it when I get there. So we'll see what kind of deal I can get out of this. But yeah, man, $200 is what it cost me. $195, I guess. To learn this lesson. So that sucks, but it does bring to illustrate the point of the downsides of renting equipment. And I'm going to kind of reference back to the whole backhoe itself, the backhoe on the 2038R John Deere tractor. When you're trying to decide whether or not you should get a tool, purchase a tool, or rent a tool, there's a lot of factors that weigh into whether or not it's worthwhile to do. But this case here just illustrates why renting tools is such a pain in the ass. I rented the blade as well, which, being that I'm going to have a lot of concrete work to do, I probably should have just bought a blade, and then I would at least not be eating the cost of the blade. The blade was maybe $45 to rent. How much is that towards a brand new blade? I'm not sure. But at least I'd own my own blade. Now, so what am I out? Well, I'll be out the $200 if they just give me no credit or no refund. I'm out at least an hour or more to drive into town to get it switched back out on, in addition to the hour that it cost me to rent it. So, maybe about 2 hours all told, and then just being set back on my project, So I kind of think this is what you get when you rent tools. It's like you don't know the condition of the tool. These ones seem to be in pretty good shape, but it's a pull cord. Pull cord broke off. That thing's gonna happen. But if you own your own tool and you maintain it and you're familiar with how much it's been used and worn and broken and the things that are wrong with it, yada yada yada, then you can reasonably manage that expectation yourself. So anyway, just illustrates the point of the value of buying your own shit. Like, I've wanted to buy a concrete saw, but I don't know, they're anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500. And that one YouTube video guy who's really helpful, he highly discourages you from buying a concrete saw used. So it's one of those tools that you really should buy brand new. And so I think we're probably gonna end up buying one. But anyway, I get it. You know, if I had brought the tool, if I'd known they were open till 8, yeah, I could have maybe rushed it back down there before they closed. That would have been a solution. So that's on me. If I had started using the tool, I don't know, 5 minutes after I rented it, you know, instead it was 5 hours later. No, I guess it was only about 3.5 hours later that I realized it was broken. So I could have started using it right away. But you know, I mean, it's my project. Maybe I don't need the thing until 23 hours after I rented it. You know what I mean? So again, most of these things are on me, but that's why I'm not expecting a full refund, because it wouldn't be reasonable. I mean, it's taken me 20 hours almost to get the damn tool back to them. So even though the fact is that I got zero use out of it and wasted my time and wasted my gas and wasted my project's time, you know, it'd be nice to get some satisfaction out of this. Give me a break. So let's see what they say. Because if Home Depot doesn't take care of me on this one, it gives me no credit towards the jackhammer that I really need to rent. And this is and that's the way they're going to kind of handle being reasonable or unreasonable towards customer satisfaction. Well, I'm not going to turn around and rent a jackhammer on cost on top of this thing. So I'm probably going to go across town and rent a jackhammer for someone else. And then I'll apply these lessons learned. Check it out, see if the damn thing works before I even leave the shop. That's what I think. And I thought about it yesterday at Home Depot. I was like, I should probably fire that thing up, see how it runs, see if it runs good before I get it home. And sure enough, if I had pulled the damn cord and let it sit there and watched it for like 15 or 30 seconds maybe, bang, the damn cord would have blown off and I wouldn't have even been in this mess. Anyway, some morning ramblings. Stay tuned. Let's see what Home Depot has to say about it. Oh, heck yeah. Sweet. Let's go try the Hilti jackhammer. All right. Good news. The old boy at the customer service desk took good care of me. I got $150 credit back, which wasn't the fullness of the cost of what I had paid. Probably subtracting out the blade rental or whatever, but $150 credit towards the jackhammer. That's awesome. At first he wasn't really going to do it, didn't know how to do it, wasn't sure how to do it, said he might have to get his manager involved. I was like, yeah, well, I mean, you know, I'm out all this fuel and half of my day, and if we got to get a manager involved, let's do it. So then he made a phone call, and then the manager never showed up. So then a couple other folks showed up that had apparently, you know, authorization override or whatever. So he just took their override, punched it in, and resolved it himself. And that's what you get for being reasonable with people. So got 24 hours with the jackhammer, and also we made sure the thing worked. But that's awesome. That's super awesome that he did that, because it saves me the hassle of trying to go over across town, finding an entirely different machine, and going through all that nightmare. So got some good customer service right here at the local Ogden Home Depot. So I appreciate that. Now let's get back to the farm and see what damn progress we can make on this project. Good grief.